Ladies and gentlemen, let me take you into a moment we've all lived through, or almost all of us have. You hear that ding. You glance at your phone, and there it is, his name. After days, weeks, maybe months of silence, he reached out. When someone from your past reaches out, especially someone who once held a significant piece of your heart, it's completely normal for emotions to flood in. You might feel a rush of excitement, a spark of hope, or even a pang of anxiety. Your stomach drops, your hands might shake a little, and your mind immediately starts replaying memories, some beautiful, some painful. That's not weakness, that's human. Our brains are wired to respond to emotional connections. Even if the relationship ended badly, your mind holds on to the good moments too. It remembers the comfort, the laughter, the intimacy, and the dreams you once shared. So when that person's name lights up your screen, it's like a floodgate opens. Those feelings, no matter how buried, start to stir again. And that's okay. It's important to acknowledge those reactions without judgment. Feeling something doesn't mean you have to do something. Emotions are signals, not instructions. They're trying to tell you that something mattered, that something impacted you. But just because your heart remembers doesn't mean your future needs to revisit what your past already survived. The biggest mistake people make is assuming their emotional reaction means they should reply. But feelings are just that, feelings. They don't always align with logic, self-worth, or long-term peace. It's possible to miss someone and still know they weren't good for you. You can feel the pull and still choose not to follow it. So before you judge yourself for caring, for reacting, or even for wanting to respond, pause. Give yourself grace. You're not weak for feeling. You're human for feeling. But strength lies in what you do after the feeling hits. You're not that same person who once accepted less than you deserved. Let the emotions come, and then let clarity lead. That moment when you see their name pop up, it's electric. Your instinct might be to respond immediately, maybe even without fully reading the message. Whether it's a hey or a long-winded apology, your fingers might hover over the keyboard, ready to say something, anything. But this moment, right here, is where everything shifts. This is your power move, and it starts with one simple act: pause. Why pause? Because instant reactions are rarely grounded in truth. They're driven by emotion, nostalgia, and a deep longing for resolution. When someone you once loved, or still love, reaches out, it can feel like everything you've tried to process, forget, or heal from comes crashing back. But those feelings are like waves. They rise, they crash, and they pass. What you don't want to do is make a life-altering decision in the middle of that wave. The pause gives you space to breathe, to feel without acting. It lets you separate what you're feeling right now from what you truly want moving forward. It helps you step back and ask the questions you need to ask. What has changed? Why now? What do I need? Not what do they want? The pause is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's a sign that you respect your own peace enough to protect it, even from yourself. Because often, the urge to reply isn't about them, it's about seeking validation, closure, or even just a sense of familiarity. And while those are real needs, they don't always get met by reopening a door that hurt you when it closed. The truth is, people reach out for all kinds of reasons, some genuine, some selfish, some because they've grown, others because they've hit a low point and you felt safe. But without pausing, you won't be able to tell the difference. You won't be able to hear your own voice over the noise of emotions and memories. In that space between the message and the reply is where your clarity lives. It's where your progress speaks louder than your pain. And it's in that stillness that you remember. You don't owe anyone your immediate access, your emotional energy, or your vulnerability. Not anymore. Give yourself the pause. You deserve at least that much. When someone from your past reaches out, especially after a long silence, your mind might instinctively want to believe that something is different this time, that maybe they've had an awakening, maybe they've finally realized what they lost. Or maybe they've truly changed. But here's the hard truth. A message is not a transformation. It's so easy to romanticize a sudden message. We build stories around it, giving it more weight than it deserves. We think, why now? Maybe he's been thinking about me. Maybe he misses me. Maybe he's ready to be better. That word, maybe, it becomes a trap. A single text can trigger a whole imagined narrative, one where he's learned his lesson, where he regrets hurting you, and where he's ready to be the person you always hoped he would be. But we have to remember, intentions are not always what they seem. Just because someone says they've changed or even believes they have doesn't mean they've done the real work to become different. Real change is not convenient. It's not silent. It's not just words. It's effort, consistency, and accountability. And often, the kind of people who truly change don't just pop up in your inbox unannounced. They approach with clarity, not confusion, with purpose, not vague messages. A lot of people reach out not because they've grown, but because they're lonely, because something reminded them of you, because they're going through a breakup, because they're bored, because they need comfort and you were once a safe space. It might sound harsh, but it's real. Some messages come from a place of selfishness disguised as sentiment. And here's what makes it even more difficult. The message itself can sound sincere. It might be warm. It might even be apologetic. They might say everything you once needed to hear, words you waited for when the pain was fresh. But timing matters. If those words are showing up now, when you've begun to heal, not when you needed them most, you have to wonder, is this about you or is it about them? The danger lies in assuming that a message automatically means growth, remorse, or the start of something new. We want to believe it means progress. We want to believe it validates the pain we went through. But often, it's just a moment, a fleeting impulse on their part. And if we take it as something bigger, we risk reopening wounds we worked so hard to close. So when that message arrives, read it with your eyes wide open, not with your heart wide open. Separate hope from reality. A few nice words don't erase patterns, and a second chance shouldn't be granted just because someone decided to return. Not all messages mean change. Some just mean they remembered you, not that they value you the way you deserve to be valued. Your growth didn't happen overnight. It came with tears, silence, late-night self-talks, and hard decisions. You've had to unlearn patterns, sit in discomfort, and rebuild yourself from places you never thought you'd rise out of. That kind of healing, that kind of growth, it's sacred. And when someone from your past reaches out, especially someone who played a role in your pain, your progress deserves to be fiercely protected. Healing isn't linear, and it certainly isn't easy. Some days you took 3 steps forward and then found yourself crawling back just to breathe. You've had moments where you wanted to reach out, where the loneliness felt louder than logic, but you didn't. You sat with it, you let it pass. You chose to grow instead of reopen. That choice was your power. Now here you are, stronger, wiser, clearer. You may not be fully healed, but you're healing. You're more aware of what you deserve. You've started to rebuild your identity outside of that connection. That's not something you risk lightly. The person who's reaching out, they don't see your day-to-day victories. They don't know how many nights you stayed awake trying not to text them. They don't know how many times you had to talk yourself out of breaking your own heart just for a second of comfort. They weren't there while you were rising. They show up now, maybe casually, maybe with charm, but with no idea how much work it took for you to find your footing again. And so now, in this moment, the question becomes, will you protect the version of you that's still fighting to grow? Here's the truth. When you respond too quickly, without checking in with yourself, you risk inviting the past back into your present. And sometimes that past is dressed up differently, but it still carries the same weight, the same emotional toll, the same cycles. Growth isn't just about moving forward, it's about guarding what you've built. Setting boundaries is not bitterness. Saying no is not coldness. Taking your time is not rudeness. It's self-respect. It's wisdom. It's choosing to honor every inch of healing you've worked for. You didn't climb out of that darkness just to go back into it because someone decided they miss your light. Your peace, your energy, your self-worth, they've all been hard-earned. And anything hard-earned needs to be protected like the treasure it is. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table just because they remember the taste of your loyalty. Not everyone who left should get the chance to witness who you are now. Growth is powerful, but it's also fragile, and protecting it isn't selfish, it's survival. When someone from your past reaches out, especially someone who once hurt, confused, or disappointed you, it's natural to be curious. The message might be simple, even vague. Hey, how have you been? I was thinking about you. I miss us. Those words can stir up a whirlwind of emotion. But before you allow your heart to lead the way, you must slow down and evaluate their intentions carefully. Intentions are the why behind the words. And if you don't pause to examine that why, you could end up caught in the same cycle you already worked so hard to escape. Because let's be real, not every person who reaches out does so out of love, clarity, or genuine change. Sometimes they're reaching out because they're lonely. Sometimes they're bored. Sometimes they need validation. Sometimes they just want to know they still can have access to you. You have to ask yourself, what brought them back now? Is this message rooted in growth, accountability, and a sincere desire to repair what was broken? Or is it convenience disguised as care? Because real intentions don't just speak, they show. They align with action. They come with honesty, responsibility, and an understanding of the pain they may have caused. It's not enough that someone says, I miss you. What matters is, have they taken the time to understand why things fell apart? Have they acknowledged their role in the hurt? Are they taking real steps toward being better? Or are they simply slipping back in, hoping you'll forget what you had to go through after they left? People can say the right things for the wrong reasons. They can mirror your hopes, tap into your vulnerabilities, and stir up just enough nostalgia to cloud your judgment. That's why evaluating intentions isn't about being cold, it's about being clear. Ask yourself, are they reaching out to truly reconnect or just to feel relevant in your life again? Are they offering something new or just repackaging the old? Do they see your worth now, or do they just miss the comfort of your presence? Intentions can be hard to read when emotions are high, especially when your heart wants so badly to believe in the best version of someone. But belief without boundaries leads to disappointment. You're not being mean for questioning their motives. You're being smart. You're being self-aware. Because the truth is, if someone truly values you, their intentions won't be murky. They won't be laced with confusion or vague messages. You won't have to decode their words or guess their heart. You'll feel the difference in their tone, in their transparency, in the way they take ownership. Evaluating intentions isn't just about them, it's about you too. It's about standing in your truth and knowing that not everyone who wants your attention deserves your trust. It's recognizing that your peace is too precious to gamble on someone who doesn't even know what they're bringing to the table. So read between the lines. Ask the questions they're not volunteering answers to. And above all, be honest with yourself. Because clarity only comes when you're willing to see beyond the surface. It's easy to mistake someone's sudden return as a sign of love, especially when that return comes during a quiet season in your own life. When they reach out, maybe late at night, maybe after weeks or months of silence, your heart might leap. You might think they must still care, but pause. Because there's a massive difference between love and loneliness, and one often disguises itself as the other. Love is rooted in consistency, effort, and presence. It's not just about missing someone. It's about choosing them every day, even when it's inconvenient, even when things aren't perfect. Loneliness, on the other hand, is a temporary feeling. It's a void, an ache, a sudden discomfort with solitude that can push people to reach for what's familiar, even if they don't really value it anymore. Sometimes people reach out, not because they love you, but because they miss how you made them feel. They miss the way you listened, the way you made them feel safe, the way you were always there when they needed someone. But that doesn't mean they're ready to show up for you in return. It doesn't mean they're ready to be better. It just means they're alone right now, and you feel like a soft place to land. That's not love. That's seeking comfort. That's reaching back into a past that once served them without thinking about how it may have shattered you. And here's where it gets tricky. When you're feeling lonely yourself, their message might seem like a lifeline. In your own quiet, vulnerable moments, you might start to believe it's a sign that the universe brought them back, that the love you hoped for is finally arriving. But the truth is, loneliness magnifies emotion. It makes you crave connection, and sometimes that craving makes you romanticize the wrong people. But remember this, love doesn't return as a whisper in the dark. love shows up in the light. It communicates, it grows. It's not casual, it's not vague, it's not inconsistent, and it definitely doesn't leave you questioning your worth or intentions. So when they reach out, ask yourself honestly, do they truly love me, or are they just afraid of being alone? Are they showing up with clarity, or are they reaching back because they have no one else to talk to tonight? Would they be texting me if they were happy, whole, or in a fulfilling relationship? People often romanticize the person who reaches out during their lonely hours. But don't let a moment of someone else's emptiness convince you that it's love. You deserve more than that. You deserve someone who comes to you with a full heart, not someone who's just trying to fill an emotional gap for the night. Loneliness passes, love stays. And when you know the difference, you protect yourself from confusing, fleeting comfort with something deeper. You learn not to reopen the door just because someone knocked. You only open it when they come with the intention to stay. It's essential to acknowledge that the person you are today is a culmination of every experience you've had, every challenge you've faced, and every lesson you've learned. You're not who you were before. The journey through heartbreak, healing, and self-discovery shapes you in profound ways, often leaving you stronger, more resilient, and more aware of your own worth. When someone from your past reaches out, they may be trying to connect with the version of you they remember. A version who might have been more willing to accept their shortcomings, more forgiving of their mistakes, and perhaps more eager to jump back into old patterns. But that person is gone. You've evolved. And part of that evolution is understanding what you will and will not tolerate. This growth isn't merely a change in attitude. It's a transformation that comes from a deeper understanding of yourself and what you need from relationships. You've likely reflected on past dynamics, dissecting what went wrong and recognizing the patterns that led to pain. You've spent time cultivating self-love, setting boundaries, and learning that your worth isn't dependent on someone else's recognition or affection. Now, when faced with that familiar name on your screen, you must remember the strength you've gained. You've built a new foundation, one that stands firm on self-respect and the knowledge that you deserve genuine love and support. The past may tug at your heartstrings, invoking nostalgia and the good memories, but you must remind yourself that those good moments don't erase the hurt, the confusion, or the lessons learned through tears. Consider how far you've come. You've learned to prioritize your emotional health. You've developed healthier relationships with others. You've recognized your own red flags and those of others. You've embraced your passions and discovered new interests that bring you joy. With this newfound clarity, you also recognize that you hold the power to dictate the terms of your future relationships. No longer are you the person willing to compromise your happiness for someone else's comfort. You know now that true love respects your boundaries, honors your growth, and meets you where you are, not where they wish you to be. This evolution is not only about rejecting old patterns, it's about embracing your worth unapologetically. It's about understanding that your journey has equipped you with the tools to identify what's healthy and what's harmful. You're not here to repeat the past. You're here to create a future that aligns with your true self. When someone reaches out, they may see a flicker of the old you, a nostalgic memory of what was, but you must remind yourself that you've grown beyond that. You are stronger, more knowledgeable, and more equipped to make choices that honor your growth. This is your chance to reclaim your narrative, to assert that the person they knew is no longer the person who exists today. Remember, your growth is not just a personal achievement. It's a fundamental shift in how you approach relationships, love, and self-worth. So when you face that message from the past, stand firm in your truth. Recognize that you are not the same person you once were, and that transformation is a testament to your strength and resilience. You've moved on for a reason, and that reason deserves to be respected and celebrated. When we talk about love, consistency is one of the most critical elements that often gets overlooked. Real love isn't just about grand gestures or heartfelt apologies when things go wrong. It's about showing up day after day, proving through actions that you care, and building a foundation of trust and reliability. Love that is genuine is not only emotional, it's also consistent, steadfast, and dependable. In our lives, we often find ourselves swept up in the excitement of a passionate romance or a powerful connection. Those initial sparks can be intoxicating, and they can make us overlook the importance of stability and reliability. However, as time passes and situations change, what truly matters is whether that initial connection can withstand the test of time. Consistency is the anchor that keeps relationships grounded, especially when the winds of life blow strong. When someone from your past reaches out after a long silence, it's essential to assess whether their feelings are built on a foundation of genuine love or simply nostalgia. They might express their feelings eloquently, recount fond memories, or claim they've changed. But the real test lies in their ability to follow through with actions. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a series of choices made repeatedly over time. Ask yourself, did they show consistency in your relationship before? Did they make you feel secure, valued, and understood? Or did they leave you questioning your worth? Were they there during difficult times, or did they only surface during moments of convenience? People often mistake sporadic attention for love. A text message here and there, an occasional call, or a sudden wave of affection can feel good, but it's crucial to remember that these gestures should not replace the deeper commitment of consistent love. True love means being there for someone not just when it's easy, but when it's hard, when the allure of the relationship fades and reality sets in. When we are in a relationship, especially one that has had its share of ups and downs, we should feel secure in the knowledge that our partner is committed to showing us their love every single day. This might manifest in small ways, checking in to see how your day was, offering support during stressful times, or simply being present and engaged. Moreover, real love encourages growth in both partners. It celebrates achievements, provides encouragement during challenges, and remains unwavering during the storms. This consistency fosters an environment of safety and trust, allowing both individuals to express themselves freely, knowing they won't be judged or abandoned. So when you receive that message from someone who once made you question your worth, reflect on their past actions. Consider whether they ever demonstrated the kind of consistency that is essential for a healthy, loving relationship. Did they nurture your connection, or did they take you for granted? Did they ever prioritize you as much as you prioritized them? As you evaluate their reach out, keep in mind that you deserve someone who embodies consistency, not just in their words, but in their actions and commitments. Love that thrives is love that is persistent, attentive, and reliable. It's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about building a lasting partnership based on mutual respect, understanding, and trust. Ultimately, remember, real love is not a fleeting emotion. It's a conscious choice made repeatedly, day in and day out. It is patient, kind, and steadfast, even when challenges arise. It is built on a solid foundation that withstands the test of time, and it values both partners equally. When someone reaches out to you, measure their intentions against the standard of real love, and know that you deserve nothing less than a love that is consistent, nurturing, and unwavering. In a world that often equates communication with connection, it's easy to overlook the strength found in silence. When someone from your past reaches out, especially after a period of absence, it can feel like a rush of emotions, excitement, confusion, or even anxiety. However, silence can be a profound and powerful response, offering a chance to reflect, gather your thoughts, and ultimately protect your emotional well-being. Silence is not just the absence of words. It is a powerful statement in itself. It conveys boundaries, self-respect, and a deep understanding of your worth. When someone who once caused you pain attempts to re-enter your life, responding immediately might seem like the easiest option, but that reaction can often blur the line between what you truly want and what they may want from you. By choosing silence, you give yourself the space to assess the situation without the pressure to respond right away. Consider this. Every moment of silence allows you to reflect on your feelings, your progress, and what you genuinely want moving forward. It invites you to examine the reasons behind your initial connection and why you felt the need to move on. When you're silent, you can hear your own thoughts, your needs, your boundaries, and your growth. You can reflect on the lessons you've learned and the person you've become. Moreover, silence can serve as a powerful tool for setting boundaries. When someone reaches out, they may not understand the depth of the hurt they caused or the journey you've been on since then. By choosing not to respond immediately, you create a moment for them to consider their intentions. It forces them to sit with the weight of their message and question whether they're truly ready to engage meaningfully rather than just casually reconnecting for their own comfort. In relationships, silence can also be a form of self-protection. When you give yourself time to think, you reduce the risk of being swept up in emotional responses that may not serve you well. You're less likely to fall into the trap of nostalgia, where memories cloud your judgment and make you long for a past that may not have been as ideal as you remember. By holding back your response, you allow yourself to remain grounded in reality, recognizing that the past may hold lessons, but it doesn't dictate your present or future. Additionally, silence can provoke deeper reflection in the other person. When they don't receive an immediate reply, they might be compelled to consider the impact of their actions and words. They may begin to question whether they truly deserve your attention or if their previous behavior warrants a second chance. This moment of introspection can lead to meaningful change or, conversely, reveal their lack of understanding regarding the depth of your previous relationship. Remember, silence is not about punishing anyone. It's about prioritizing your peace and self-care. In the aftermath of heartbreak or disappointment, you often find that the loudest voices aren't the ones that demand immediate attention, but rather the quiet whispers of your own heart that need time to process. Choosing silence can also serve as a reminder that you are not obligated to respond to every outreach. Your time and emotional energy are precious commodities. You have the right to decide when and if you want to engage in a conversation that may require a significant emotional investment. Your silence can assert that you will no longer tolerate being an afterthought or a convenience for someone who wasn't there when it truly mattered. Ultimately, silence allows you to reclaim your narrative. It empowers you to dictate the pace of your healing and the terms of your relationship. It emphasizes that you are not merely a reactive participant in someone else's story, but an active author of your own. Your silence can speak volumes, serving as a boundary, a moment of reflection, and a powerful reminder that you hold the control over who gets to be in your life. So when faced with that message, remember, it's okay to take a step back and embrace the power of silence. Allow yourself the time and space to reflect, to feel, and to decide how you want to move forward. In doing so, you protect your growth and reaffirm your commitment to yourself and your well-being. When someone from your past reaches out, it's crucial to recognize the profound truth that you hold the power now. This power comes from the journey you've undertaken, the lessons you've learned, and the emotional growth you've achieved. In the past, you may have felt vulnerable, uncertain, or even dependent on that person for validation and comfort. But today, that dynamic has shifted. You are not the same person you once were. You've emerged stronger, wiser, and more self-aware. This newfound power means that you are no longer a passive participant in your relationships. You are the one in control of your narrative. You get to decide who deserves a place in your life and under what circumstances. This is a fundamental shift that comes from understanding your worth and recognizing that you have the agency to make choices that serve your best interests. Having power doesn't mean you have to respond with anger or resentment. Rather, it means you can choose to respond or not respond based on what feels right for you. You have the ability to set boundaries, to communicate your needs, and to define what a healthy relationship looks like in your life. This power is rooted in self-respect and the understanding that you deserve relationships that uplift you, not bring you down. When the message arrives, take a moment to embrace that power. Reflect on what you've overcome and how far you've come. Think about the times you stood up for yourself, the moments you chose to prioritize your own well-being over someone else's demands, and the times you learned to say no to what didn't serve you. Each of these experiences has contributed to your strength, and now you can wield that strength in the face of past connections. Furthermore, acknowledging that you hold the power now means understanding that you are not obligated to engage with someone just because they've reached out. You can choose to respond on your terms, with clarity and intention. If you feel that reopening that door is not in alignment with your current self, then don't hesitate to close it. You have the right to protect your peace and your heart. Consider the impact of your choices moving forward. When you respond or choose not to respond, you're not just shaping your immediate circumstances, you're also setting a precedent for future interactions. By asserting your boundaries and making conscious choices, you signal to others how you expect to be treated. This establishes a framework for future relationships, ensuring that they are built on mutual respect and understanding. This newfound power also offers an opportunity for self-reflection. It's a chance to assess what you truly want in your life moving forward. Ask yourself, what qualities do I value in relationships? What does a healthy connection look like for me? What boundaries do I need to set to protect my emotional well-being? By taking the time to answer these questions, you reaffirm your worth and set the stage for healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future. Moreover, holding the power means that you are not defined by your past. You have the ability to shape your future. This realization can be incredibly liberating. It allows you to release any lingering guilt, shame, or regret about past relationships. You are no longer tied to the mistakes or missteps of yesterday. Instead, you are focused on creating a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. When you recognize that you hold the power now, it empowers you to act in ways that align with your authentic self. You can choose to be open to new possibilities or to safeguard your heart by prioritizing self-care. This agency is yours alone. It's your choice how to navigate your emotional landscape. Lastly, embrace the idea that holding power does not mean you have to carry it alone. You have the support of friends, family, and possibly even professionals who can help you navigate your feelings and choices. Lean on those who uplift you and encourage your growth. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and who celebrate your journey. In conclusion, recognizing that you hold the power now is an empowering realization that allows you to reclaim your narrative, establish your worth, and create a life that reflects your true self. With this power, you can approach past connections with clarity, assertiveness, and self-love, ensuring that any relationships you choose to foster in the future are rooted in mutual respect and genuine connection. As you stand at this crossroads, remember that the choice is yours to make. You have the power to define your relationships, protect your peace, and honor the journey that has shaped you into who you are today. Each time you face that familiar name on your screen, remind yourself of the strength you've cultivated and the lessons you've learned. Love is not just about accepting someone back into your life. It's about knowing your worth and understanding that you deserve more than fleeting connections or empty promises. Your growth is a testament to your resilience, and it deserves to be celebrated and safeguarded. So when you receive that message, take a moment, breathe, reflect, and remember, you are not the person you once were. You are stronger, wiser, and more deserving of real, consistent love. The past may tug at your heartstrings, but the future is yours to shape. Embrace your power, choose wisely, and know that whatever decision you make, it is valid because it comes from a place of strength and self-awareness. You hold the power now, and with that power, you can create a life filled with authentic connections, unwavering respect, and a love that truly reflects who you are. Thank you.